my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I'm like bouncing off the walls right now with excitement.
This was a big one.
This is a huge day for me, GLUs, just so you know. And I'm not even kidding. Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I feel like I met the Queen of England today. Like, that's my level of excitement. I'm so starstruck. I like, did that really just happen? Have I actually understood? Like, I'm freaking out. Today we had on the show Corre Larkin, also known as Coco Larkin Cooks on all social media platforms. She is arguably my favorite foodie influencer. I'm a big home cook. I love consuming her content. I have made dozens of this woman's recipes. Like, this is the strongest parasocial relationship that I have. And she has such an interesting backstory, which is why we asked her to come on this show. And we just had the most incredible conversation about it.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't cook like me, there's still tremendous value in this because she talks about changing careers, pivoting, how to have a successful online social media career. She's a home cooking content creator who has 1.5 million followers, so she's doing something right. But what I got out of it was so much great advice on starting a career in social media, growing a following, how to pivot, how to completely change career path after you've done one thing for so long, and how to boldly, take on something new. Really, really smart advice. And yes, Ellen gets all of her cooking itches scratched, but there's so much more value in there also for those of you who are not
God. Incredible, tangible business advice. Like business, just straight up. And that can translate into any element of your life, whether you're starting a small business, you are thinking about pivoting and starting a small business, whether that is even creating social media content on the side or something else. She had a whole other life and company before she became the online cooking sensation that she is today. So we break all of that down.
And this was her first podcast ever. Bam.
And this was her first podcast ever. Podcast debut from Corre Larkin. You guys are really going to enjoy this episode. And thank you so much for listening. Enjoy this episode with Coco Larkin Cooks, a.k.a. Corre Larkin.
Oh my God.
My God.
My God.
Oh my God. Let's get into it.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing so well. We're so happy to have you here. I'm legitimately starstruck. Like,
she's losing her mind right now.
Oh, I'm losing my mind. You have no idea. This is the strongest parasocial relationship that I have. Like, hands down. I feel like I know I'm in on everything. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. This is my first podcast I've ever done.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That is so exciting.
1.5 million followers, and this is the first podcast. I mean,
yeah, I've never done one before.
Well, I just want to tell you first how I became introduced to you and how my obsession began. I was introduced to you by my brother's partner, who's a private chef in New York City in the Hamptons. So normally he rolls his eyes at foodie influencers. Like, I'll show him people and he's like, oh God, like, ugh. He showed me you, which I was shocked. I was like, wait, you're following some foodie influencer online? I can't believe this. He loved your content so much that he shared all of it with me. And while I was at their house for a couple of weeks, we truly cooked our way through your account together.
Oh my God,
and had
I love
the
that.
best time. No, had the best time. I can't tell you how many things I've made. It was a freaking ice storm here in Texas this past weekend, and I made the potato leek soup. It was so good. So yeah, I've made all the things. And so that's how I became introduced to you. And I always found your story because you would kind of, you've dropped little nuggets here and there about your past and how you kind of arrived where you are today. And I always thought your story was so interesting. And so I said to Lisi, we should get her on the show. And then Lisi has a whole other origin story with you.
That's not my story. My story is Ellen and I were doing a podcast after the holidays and talking about all of our Christmas presents. She got way more than I did, by the way. And she was bragging about getting one of your pots, right? Like a copper.
Oh, yes.
I got Rafoni pots from the loved ones in my life because they know how obsessed I am with your content. And they're like,
my
now
God,
you can
I
cook
love
like
that.
Coco.
It's the best.
They are the best.
I don't cook at all. And so I didn't know any of this. And she was saying, yeah, do you know who she is? And she lives in Newport, which obviously I live in Laguna Beach. We're neighbors. And so I don't know why the proximity of where you live gave me the chutzpah to reach out to you because I get that it's like a digital world. It doesn't matter where you live. I can contact you. But something about it made me feel safe. And I just DM'd you, which I don't do ever. And I was like, my friend loves you, and like it's her birthday coming up in February, and is there anything you can do? And you wrote back right away that you could. I was so excited. And then I'm the worst. I always say I'm great at keeping secrets. I'm horrible at keeping surprises. So right away I was like, Ellen, she responded. She's going to do something for your birthday. And then so I ruined that.
And I'm like, wait, get her on the podcast.
Get her on the podcast. And so here you are. And we sort of are coming at you from two very different angles. Ellen, as she said, is obsessed with the cooking and wants to talk about that, and also obsessed with your skincare routine and wants to talk about that. I want to start by talking about something that I can relate to, not being a cook and having given up on my skincare routine, the pivot of your life. After learning more about you, you are a pivot queen. And I find that at this stage in my life, and just the way that the world is today, I find that so many of us are being forced to pivot, whether it's, you know, the financial model has changed, careers are changing, the way we do business is changing. Women my age are finding themselves as like empty nesters. So what am I going to do now? Life circumstances change. And now more than ever, in a future that we all feel so uncertain about, and we're all pivoting. I'm doing it myself. I have spent 25 years just writing novels. Now I'm writing novels and doing brand development for companies and podcasting and. And so I was hoping you could share your story with us, because it will be so inspiring for so many of us who are in the pivot stage right now. So from what I understand, you had a career in the defense industry, specifically supplying armored ballistic glass to the military. Now, let's start by, what does that even mean?
Totally.
So if you have like a military vehicle or a boat, so let's say like a Humvee is like a very recognizable one. Those are armored. So they're armored with ballistic glass as well as non-ballistic opaque panels, you would call them. And so the company I started, so my parents have a glass manufacturing company here in Orange County in Santa Ana. My grandpa started it. He's the first Corre. My dad's run it for 50 years, and him and my mom both own it. And when I came back from London, that was one of the things. It was like, come back. I want to retire. I owned a company in London. And he was like, it's time. Like, I want to kind of transfer this over to you. So I eventually came back, and my husband, we got engaged. He came back with me.
Wait, what company was it in London? I need all the details.
What took you to London, and to begin with? What were you doing over there?
Oh, that's another story for another day. But
okay.
Yeah, I followed a boy there, and then I think we broke up like 2 weeks later. I was looking at my life and thinking like it looked really boring. I was living in Santa Monica. I had come back after college, and I could see myself just like living there and then trickling eventually back to Orange County, working for the family business, and then like never doing anything terribly interesting with my life. Yeah, I was 23 and I was like, if I don't do something now, I can just see how boring my life might look. So I moved to London. I worked in recruitment there, IT recruitment, for a couple years. And then a company approached me to start my own recruitment company. And this was like 6 months before like Lehman Brothers fell in 2008.
Oh,
so
wow.
It was like, but that being said, it was a great experience. I feel like that was my business school. So that was like where I learned everything not to do.
Sure.
I mean, the company didn't make it because I moved back, but it was like, I learned so many lessons at that one.
What was a big lesson, like one of the biggest takeaways?
The biggest takeaway for me is that you have to have monetary skin in the game. So I was only 27. These guys came to me and are like, we'll put all the money down. You'll get 50% of the company. We'll own 50%. But you're going to be within this like model where we provide like administrative support and kind of like CEO type support. But I didn't have to put any money in. And what I found, at least for me, is that if I didn't have skin in the game, if I didn't have my money on the line, I just didn't care as much.
Interesting.
So when I went on after that, I knew I needed to have like my own money on the line for me personally to be as invested as I needed to be to make something successful. I moved back. I realized very quickly within the first 6 months that my dad had really no intention of retiring. And that I couldn't work for my parents. That was not going to be something that worked out for me. So instead of leaving altogether, I started a company called Transparent Armor Solutions. We designed, developed the armored windows. And then my parents were like, build to print would make all my product for me. So I knew they wouldn't
Smart.
steal my IP or designs because it's my family.
course.
That would be really tricky to do with other manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sold it on to the government as a women-owned small business.
Hell
The
yeah.
idea was I could stay in and I like still learn the trade of what they did so that when they did want to retire, I, wouldn't be starting from some other industry, but that I would own my own company. I wouldn't work for them. I became one of their biggest clients.
Mm-hmm.
So that was how that happened.
That's amazing. For how many years you have this company?
I did it for 13 years.
Oh my God.
So it was a long time and largely just like me and one other person. I outsourced everything I couldn't do. So that whether that was accounting, IT, HR, everything was outsourced. And then I just remained very tiny and very little overhead. And I did that until I sold it 3 years ago, like 3 years ago in March.
Did you enjoy it?
I mean, I enjoy making money and I always have. And
Right.
I'm not ashamed of it. I happily will say it. I like making money. It's a game to me. Everything feels like a game. Every day you're kind of either winning or losing. And so I enjoyed that aspect of it. But like, no, it wasn't something I'm like passionate about that like made me jump out of bed every day. It was, it was a means to an end.
So what made you decide to sell it?
I think I wanted to go and learn the process of selling a business. And that is, oh my God, it's not for the weak. It is so difficult, especially if you don't have a large company. So I sold to my biggest client who I worked really closely with, but who were majority owned by private equity. And that was really like, oh, the lessons learned from that I will take forever.
Because they don't have as much agency and they can't do as much as they would want. Their hands are tied.
I think everything they're looking to do is just maximize. Everything is number based. They don't really care about kind of what you built or whatever. It's a numbers game. And most of the time when you sell to them, they remove you almost immediately. And they still had all the founders of the company that they had bought. So I was under the impression that this was going to be slightly different. We were going to then build this together. And then within 6 months, that was clear that that was not going to happen. So to me, it was a big learning lesson. But I think I just wanted to see what else was out there for me to do. I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe I was going to go into property. Maybe I was going to use the proceeds from the sale to buy up either commercial or residential real estate and start building passive income streams. I love working, so I knew I wasn't going to not work, but at that stage, I really didn't know what it was going to be.
Right. So it all was just like very fluid and organic. That was one of my questions in my prep that I was thinking about was like, did you have a timeline of like, okay, I'm going to sell and then in the next 3 years, I'm going to do this? Or you were just kind of all figuring it out as it was going?
Figuring it out. And I think I always knew. So I kind of look at everything I've done. I always just say like, I'm going to bet on me. I'm going to bet on me every day because I have the ability to decide how hard I work, how much risk I take, what I'm going to put into something. So like, I'm always going to bet on me. And so far those bets have worked out. Even if they don't work out, the lessons I take from them are invaluable. That was one of the things I had to learn back when that first company failed. Like, there is no success without failure. And I'm not great at failure.
It's funny. I was just going to say the opposite. I was going to say you seem like someone who would be comfortable with failing, not comfortable like welcoming it, but you're able to get the benefit of it, squeeze that out, and then move on. Like, you know how to fail well in a way that creates resilience. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I do. Yeah. At 29 or 30, no.
Yeah.
There was still too much ego and shame. There was shame around failure. Only with time and I would say wisdom, maturity, whatever you want to call it, do I now understand that there is no success without failure and that you have to have the failure in order to learn some of those really hard lessons.
And the thing about lessons that is so annoying is that you really have to learn them yourself for them to stick. Like, I could have flown down and landed on your shoulder and given you all the lessons in words, and you would like flick me off your shoulder and keep doing what you're doing. As any of us with kids know, like, you want to just pave the way and tell them what's what. And as those of us who were kids at one point, we all know, like, it doesn't work until you learn it yourself. And
Yeah,
that's really the
absolutely.
bittersweetness of lesson learning, isn't it? Yes. So you had to go through these things in order to get the confidence, I would say, to pivot and try something new each time. You're taking those lessons with you in every venture you approach moving forward. Just because it's a different industry doesn't mean you're not taking that in your bag of tricks.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get into like how the living abroad of it all and the food of it all, because I think they're kind of integrated, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
do you believe in a Saturn return? Because it seemed like there was a lot going on for you around age 27. You're living abroad, and then I was watching your stories yesterday because I stalk you, obviously, and you were saying you kind of got into cooking at 26, 27. So what was going on in your life at that time?
I was working this very high stress job. I was working 12 hours a day and really like burning the candle at both ends. I mean, you're working this very intense job, and then after work and on the weekends, you are partying and having fun and traveling and doing all the things you do in your 20s if you're kidless like I was.
Yeah.
But over there is where, I mean, the food is amazing. And, you know, when I'm always mind boggled when people think British food isn't good. It's absolutely amazing. And London is a melting pot of food and cuisine. And I was introduced to so much. It's the original farm to table. It's so seasonal over there. And I learned to cook from just honestly being hungover on a couch on the weekends from going out and watching these British chefs of the 2000s, which was so prevalent. So, you know, Jamie Oliver, Nigella, Rick Stein,
Yep.
James Martin, every one of them. And I would watch for hours hungover on the weekends until I could finally move. And then I would go out and cook the dishes. And so that's really where I learned to cook. It's how I learned how to cook with only a handful of ingredients and kind of all the things I do right now.
Isn't that funny? That's what I do now on TikTok. Like, I'm hungover and I'm looking at your TikTok instead of watching cooking shows.
Yeah, it's 100%. That's where it's pivoted. It's like now people are watching YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram.
Yeah, and you can have your own
And
cooking show.
scrolling.
Like, why wouldn't you? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm picking up the through line of all of these things as you seem like the type of person that the gap between where you are and where you want to become, what you want to become, doesn't scare you. You will leap over that gap, teach yourself the thing, figure out how to do it. You're not like, oh, well, I have no background in cooking. Like, who am I to take on these massive recipes when I'm nursing a hangover? And you're just like, screw it. I'm going to go out there and figure it out. Just like I'm going to go out there and figure out how to make ballistic glass for military. Like,
Right.
You're just like, I don't think any of us
Yeah.
are born with these in our factory settings, and you just go out and figure it out and master it. And that's very inspiring. So again, for anybody who is looking to completely change it up, there's no better time to do that because we live in a world where there's so much access to information and videos and tutorials and how-tos that you don't have to register at a school or take night classes to figure out how to change it up. And you are
No,
living
I mean,
proof
you
of
can
that.
go and watch some TikTok or YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Like when I started posting on TikTok, I'd never even been on TikTok. I'd
Right.
never even been a consumer of TikTok.
Oh my God.
That's another thing.
It was just like, this is new to me. And I just remember thinking like, okay, I'm going to spend 2 days learning how to make TikToks, learning how to edit them. I'd never made anything before. So in 2018, I remember thinking like I was really kind of creatively unsatisfied with my job. And I love thrifting and I love going estate sailing. And so I started a company where I would, in my free time as a side gig, flip items that I had found. So I would go to an estate sale, I'd post them on my Instagram stories, and I would sell them that day, sell them on, ship them out, and I would all do it talking in front of the camera. I had probably 5 years of talking in front of the camera, selling items on Instagram.
Wow. Yeah.
Before I ever picked up a phone to start filming a cooking. And I think you just become very comfortable being in front of the camera.
Right.
And, you know, essentially everything is sales. So whether you're selling an antique plate or you're selling a recipe or you're selling yourself, it's all sales. So I think that period of time where I did my Corre Marie days, I call them, where I was, flipping items on Instagram, I think that also just made me comfortable being in front of a camera and being able to talk to the void. you know?
Right.
Yeah,
It feels
it's
crazy
amazing.
at first. Yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah,
Like,
for some people are like, I could never talk in front of the camera. And I get it. But like,
I get it
I would
too.
just pick it up and be like, here's my haul and here's what I'm saying. And like, you know, whether it's like, I found this the other day, I thrifted this, which is like a hand painted little thing that I'm
Ooh.
using to put like, but it would be,
Yeah.
you know, you're creating, it's the same idea. You're creating excitement about it. You're creating maybe there's only one. So this is scarcity. And so it's kind of the same thing as when I got into making cooking videos. You got to hook someone in the first 3 seconds. You've got to sell them. Why are they going to continue watching? The whole thing is sales. And I come from a whole life of sales. I think it all just kind of builds up a skill set. So if someone's like, I don't know how to make content or that, like you don't have to know how to make content. You just have to look back and to pick up all these things in your life that you've picked up over the years and then figure out how you can apply them to what you're going to do now.
That's
So
amazing advice.
What was the decision that made you go like, I'm going to start cooking? Because you post so much content. I mean, if you don't follow Coca Larkin Cooks on Instagram and TikTok, go now. You post, I mean, how many posts do you do a day on average?
Sometimes
it feels like
2. 1
yeah,
to 2.
it feels
but
like there's
I
at
go
least
through these.
one a day.
Oh, minimum 1 a day. But
Minimum.
there's
Damn.
so like
I know.
it also goes back to like momentum. So I treat this, and I've treated this until I reach a certain amount of followers, as a startup. And when you're doing a startup, you are wearing every hat. You are working every day. You are doing every job. And it is your job to create momentum around this startup. You have to create excitement. You have to create an audience. You have to create followers or clients or whoever's going to buy this product. So you're going to work really hard at first. It's not going to be some cushy job where you're working 20 hours a week. There's no person out there creating content who is going to tell you that they get to where they are by posting 4 times a week. Doesn't happen. So I treated it as a startup, a business startup, and that's the effort I put in. And so that's what I did. I would create momentum. And by creating momentum, you then create followers, create Substack subscribers, create whatever you're looking to create. But in order to do that, you have to go through periods of like extreme work.
Right.
So where
Yeah.
you are posting 1, 2, 3 times a day, not just 4 times a week.
Yeah, and it's tough because it's all you. That's the thing about creating content. It's very isolated. You know, like you don't have a team of people, and you also have young children that you're trying to raise. And, I mean, it's like, it's very hard to keep all of those plates spinning. Like,
Pun intended. And you have to make the food. Like you're actually cooking the food.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not forget about that.
Well, I think what happened was, so like the first year after I sold, I still was kept on and like working kind of like almost full-time-ish. So this was all just a side gig still. And I hadn't even gone onto Instagram yet or anywhere else. It was just on TikTok. And then they were like, okay, we don't want you full-time anymore. Like we have contracted you for just X amount of hours a week. That's all we want you for. And I was like, well, I need to find another job. Like I can't afford my life on that. I was like, okay, so I need to find another job. And so I was like, well, I'm doing this. I'm like, let's try to make this into my job. I'll try to make this into my next career. And so that's what I did. So like July, August 2024, I put all the chips on the table and went full in on this and put everything I had, every hour, every ounce, and just did not stop.
yeah.
And
So you treated it like a business. You really
I treated
you
it
had
like a
goals
startup
and you
that
had,
I owned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's a really smart way to think about it. And
Yeah.
then how long before you were actually making money off of this, or like how long before your business paid off?
So like I would say the first handful of years, like I think I started in 2023 on TikTok. Like no money, no brand deals, no money, no nothing. And then when I moved over to Instagram, I remember not wanting to go to Instagram because I thought they would not get me. Everything is so perfect and curated, and there's music and lighting and people are wearing makeup. And I'm like, I don't think any of these people are going to get me. But then when you heard the rumblings that TikTok might go, I was like, okay, I'm going to go over to Instagram and that. And it because I had 2 years of content, literally 2 years of content saved from TikTok.
Yeah.
It just took off over there.
Yeah.
And I think it was coming at a time where there was some like anti-celebrity pushback or anti-influencer pushback, whatever it was. People were just wanting something a little more raw, real, and maybe unedited.
Authentic. Yeah.
Authentic. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Your authenticity is a huge appeal. I mean, it really is, because it's so oversaturated, you know, and I know that's so it's funny. Like, I know that you probably to some degree were thinking about this strategically, but at the same time, you were just doing you, which I think is what the mass appeal is, because everything is so over curated. Everyone's content is so, like, I love that, like, I can hear your kids like running around in the background, and like, I love that, like, you don't have
it's
a quiet
like not
set.
filmed in a studio.
Yeah.
You know, I think I have a ring light over my stove and like cooking because my overhead light doesn't work. You know, most of my stuff is thrifted and found. It's not like, I mean, yes, I do have very expensive pots and pans, but 90% of them I got secondhand.
I think the magic of that too is that people who are making your recipes, I guess the average person, it's already a little intimidating. It's already like, I'm about to make something that's a little bit aspirational and out of my league. And so you want that to almost be the thing that you're striving for. If I had to try and make this amazing chicken dish and have a beautifully lit kitchen and have beautifully curated dishes and have perfect music in the background and have my arms perfectly toned and my hair done, like, I'd be out so fast. Like, there's only so much I can try to do in a day. And so I think the authenticity puts the recipes in the forefront instead of like, I know exactly the one thing I'm supposed to focus on instead of the other 900 things that are also going to be impossible for me to read.
Well, and I think people want to watch content. No one wants to feel bad about themselves while they're watching the content, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah. And if you're watching something that maybe you feel like is so far removed from your life, or like, you know, that person doesn't have a hair out of place, or her nails are always perfect, or I don't know, there's a level of like unattainability to perfection that if you're watching cooking content or like this doesn't make me feel good about myself. And like, this is not like on purpose. This is just, if I had to get dolled up to cook, I would never make content.
Right.
Like I would never make it. I would never pick up a camera. I'd be like, this is too much work. Like a lot of it is just picking up my phone and filming on the go. This is what we're doing. And it kind of comes back to like, rather than creating content, I'm documenting what I'm doing.
Right.
Not just, and so then you can do it too. You don't have to get dolled up to make this recipe, or you don't have to have this perfect kitchen. You know, I have a huge kitchen, but like in reality, I have 2 working burners and I use a countertop oven, like 2 working burners.
Can I ask about the countertop oven? Like, what's the reason behind this? I've always wondered.
Okay, so I have 2 huge, very expensive, fancy ovens. And I remember when we redid the kitchen, I put those in. I was like, great. They're so loud. They're beautiful Blue Star French door ovens, but not realizing that they are the loudest ovens in the world. And they take like 45 minutes to heat up. And I'm not joking, 2 to 3 hours to cool down. They're loud the whole time.
Yeah. And
I was like, I don't want to turn them on. Yeah. So I got the Breville probably 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And then I realized everything fit in there. So I was like, why would I ever turn on my oven? The ovens get turned on once a year for Thanksgiving for the turkey. Oh my God. I have to like the week before, I have to like make sure they work because they truly get used once a year. Now I have
the ovens are like, it's showtime. It's our time. The ovens.
It's storage. I have to empty everything out.
Yeah, you put stuff in there, I'm sure.
It's storage. And also then it takes minutes to heat up. So one of those ovens is ready to cook in 5 minutes. So that's
the thing. Those French ovens, they're so beautiful, but they are so impractical. Pretty. And my brother's partner and I'll go cook with him at parties and stuff. And a lot of these beautiful, expensive homes have these beautiful French ovens that get so hot. Can't fit a full sheet pan in them. Like they're so they're not made to our sizes over here. They're just not very practical. And they get so hot.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever go back.
I have one more question. I'm going to take us right back to the beginning of this conversation real quick. I just want to know, because again, I don't cook, always wanted to, probably never will. I want to know how you went from like being hungover, watching these videos, going out, trying these recipes to actually mastering them. Like, was there a lot of trial and error? Were you just cooking for your hungover roommates? Like, how did that become this?
So I always loved to cook because I love to eat. I love food. Like, I love food. I could be not hungry and you put my favorite dish in front of me, I'm eating it. That's just who I am.
Same.
And
us too, yeah.
And so I would cook them, and then like I would have people over, and we'd have like the party would always start at our house. Probably start and end at our house. We were just that house. I've always been that house. We are that house now. So I like to entertain, even though I didn't have a huge flat. We would invite everyone over. I would cook. And I think, I mean, it was trial by error. I've never been able to follow a recipe. So even back then, there was no recipe following. You're just watching and being like, yeah. I think there's a part of it that that probably is, you're just born with it, like a built-in palate where you can understand flavors and combinations and try as you go. And
I'm actually good at that. I think I'm a natural.
yeah, it's some people really have to have that recipe, and some people can just be like, oh, try a bite, and like, oh, it just needs a bit of this. I'm just lucky maybe I have that. And then from there, when we moved back to the States, again, I love to eat, I love to entertain, I love to cook. So we'd always be having friends over, and I just entertained a lot. And our kids were little, so we were often entertaining at home because they had to nap or go to bed early or whatever it was. So I just became, like anything, if you do something a lot, you become good at it.
Right. And so then you were off to the races. But that's so funny that you say you can't follow a recipe. I'm somewhere in between. Like, I now have a knowledge of cooking. I started cooking during COVID. So I lived in New York City my entire 20s. I was living on Chipotle and Chinese takeout and Dollar Slice. And then during the lockdown, we had nothing to do. And I was out at my brother's house, and his partner is a chef. My mom is an amazing cook. And so, but my mom is very, like, I'm from Texas, and my mom very much like Southern food is what we grew up eating in my house, is all that, country food kind of. And so every night we would, to entertain ourselves, we would have a dinner party at home, just the four of us at my brother and his partner's house. And that's really where I learned how to cook. But
that's amazing.
It was incredible. And when I tell people that now, they cannot believe that I started cooking a couple years ago, which I take as a compliment. I love. But I have a theory that because you don't bake.
No.
So people that bake are one and the same with people that bartend well. Because
the
you have to follow
followers.
the recipe. They are strict recipe followers, and really good cooks oftentimes are not recipe followers. And do you try to bake? You just don't enjoy the whole process?
No, I hate the process. And when I say I can't bake, I mean, I have tried. I went through that phase during COVID where someone gave me a sourdough starter. And if I read a recipe, and especially if it's something like baking where I really this isn't even something I'm wanting to do. Like the other day when I made those Christmas cookies, did you see me make the sugar cookies?
I didn't see that. Wait, I need to find that.
Go look. You will cry. It was like someone's like, I don't know if this is real. This is a comedy show. I'm like, guys, I'm not an actress. Like,
oh no.
It is so diabolically bad. I mean, they turned out half decent, but it not by any because of me. None of it makes sense to me. There's an alchemy to it and a really science behind it. It's the same reason why growing up, I didn't like math. There's one answer.
Exactly.
I like something that has multiple answers, and you just have to explain how you got to the answer.
You're creative. I mean, I've always thought that ingredients are the same as words. Like, you write with ingredients, I write with words. Like, it's the same thing. You have every ingredient on planet Earth available to you. Like, I have every word available to me. And how you string those ingredients / words together is how you create the thing that is uniquely yours. So, like a writer, you always hear oh, this writer has this voice. Like, what's your writer voice? Like, the thing that makes your writing uniquely yours. And I want to know, what is your cooking voice? How would you say your recipes and your dishes are uniquely yours? What is your cooking voice?
I don't really think there is one. I don't think anything is I make a lot of recipes that I don't come up with brand new stuff. I'm making a Lancashire hot pot. That's a dish that's 150 years old. It might be my version of it, but I'm not creating Lancashire hot pot or pasta bolognese. For me, I just always come back to the handful of ingredients, not a lot done to them. So that was what I took away from all those British cooking shows. Buy the best you can afford. And back in my 20s, it probably wasn't that much. And then do very little to them. So the key is buying in season, because that's when they taste the best. You just don't need to do a ton if you're buying kind of, I guess, the best you can find, or you're eating in season, in which case it's usually affordable.
I would guess your skincare routine follows the same ethos. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Nailed it.
I have, I feel like I have what works for me. I mean,
yeah. You look like it.
I will say it's
Fresh
the half
ingredients.
Japanese, though. A lot of it is inherited. My mom's Japanese, and they don't age. Asian people don't age.
Oh, and they have the best
Canadian
skincare.
Jews certainly do.
Wait, Do you have any more questions, Lisi? Can I dive into some stuff?
Dive in because yes,
Okay.
yes.
Because I want to nerd out. My friends seriously are like, I could be meeting Oprah today. Like everyone in my life is like, Happy Cocoa Day. Like you have no idea.
This is so funny.
I'm so excited. Anyway, so you just mentioned your mom. I want to touch on the Sun Valley, Idaho of it all. Like, what is your connection to that place? I spend a significant amount of time there. I'm there a lot.
I love that. Okay, so
I saw you were there one time, and I was like, "What if we ran into her somewhere? I'd be so excited."
I run into people all the time up there. Everyone's like,
I love
Coco!
it.
Like at casino. Like,
Love.
I run into like casino. I think is the dive bar town, and it's where
it's so
like
divey.
I'll be out there ripping a heater, and people are like, "Oh my god, you're Coco!" It's so funny.
I'm dying. Okay, so what's your connection to Sun Valley?
My grandpa is from Norway, and he came over in like 1970. He's the first Corre. So Norwegians ski, and he lived in LA. Sun Valley as a resort, started around like 1938, 39. He first started going up in 1943. The Snowball Express, it would leave downtown LA, go into Shoshone. When Marilyn Monroe was filming Bus Stop in Sun Valley, and he had broken his leg, he had his cast signed by her.
No.
Like,
obsessed.
We're talking Sun Valley back at the very beginning.
Yes. And it was the original ski resort, Lisi.
It was
the original,
the first chairlift in North America. I mean, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad has been going there since he was born. Like literally 1943 is when he was born. That's how long he's been going. And so growing up, they lived there. They lived there for 5 years from the late 70s to early 80s. I happened to have been born there at that time. And so we've always gone there. So growing up, Sun Valley was just part of my life. It's always been part of my life. My family and the greater family has always had a home there or a condo there or someplace to stay. So we go there a lot. When I would come back from London, I would not even go to Newport. I would go home once a year for Christmas, 2 weeks in Sun Valley. So I kind of like, that was it for me. And then now we go a lot. My son actually skis on their ski team. So I fly up almost every weekend.
Stop! Oh my God. I want to run into you there so badly. So my boyfriend's family has had a place there for 40 years. I had not been until we started dating, and I would live there full time.
It's amazing.
I love it. Yeah, I love it
but,
there.
it's hard to get to. So like I always say, like, people go up for ski week or whatever, and then it just takes one time for them to have a 12-hour journey when you realize you could have driven quicker. And then they're like, I'm going to Park City. Like, I'm never doing this again.
It's hard to get to. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of Sun Valley. Like, I take off knowing in the winter, there's a 50% chance I'm not getting bussed in somewhere, or I'm having to rent a car and drive it just is what it is, and you take it as is. But like a lot of people, and I can understand, but that's what keeps it from blowing up, which I love.
Is there anything else you want to add or mention? I mean, just in the way of like any advice on pivoting, on starting a company, on making creative, amazing dishes, on the fact that when Ellen comes to visit me, we will be coming over for dinner.
Oh, I'm inviting myself. Yeah.
Okay, 100%.
You guys
so
come over.
anything else on that?
I think the hardest part is starting and failing publicly. If you decide you're going to put yourself out there, there's going to, of course, be a ramp up. I mean, I look at my early videos and I cringe. I think you just have to start, and you have to dive in. You have to learn the trade. You have to get enough material that you can go back like a professional athlete and study your own film. That's what I do. I study my own film. I don't study other people's film. I study my own film, which you need then a catalog in order to do that. And I think you have to just get beyond the fact that you might fail publicly. Not just like, if you're creating content and you're out there, like other people are going to also know that if it doesn't work out, like, now you're gone. But you have to somehow get beyond that and dive in.
That's great. Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Ellen,
I have some rapid fire foodie questions that I want to ask you.
Totally.
And what inspired this, I was having a conversation actually, because I dare say my favorite restaurant in the world is Michelle Christiana in Sun Valley. Love. And my death row meal is the chicken with morel mushroom cream sauce.
So good.
It is so good. It's
so
my
good.
favorite thing ever. So that inspired me to ask you some foodie questions. So are you ready for a rapid fire round?
Totally.
Okay. Kosher salt or sea salt?
I use Malden sea salt for everything, except pasta water.
You use kosher salt for pasta water?
I get huge bags of sea salt from the Mexican market for like $2 for 5 pounds. That's what I use.
Okay. Love. Chicken thighs or chicken breasts?
Always chicken thighs. They have more flavor.
Damn it. French food or Italian food?
Oh, it's impossible. They tie. It really depends on my mood. They're both my favorite.
Riffoni or La Crusette?
Riffoni.
Okay. Do you like more cream or more butter in mashed potatoes?
Cream.
Favorite cookbook? Like if you had to take one cookbook to a desert island, which would it be?
There's a book called Cooking with Italian Grandmothers. I don't even know if it's in print anymore. It's by a lady named Jessica Thoreau. She went to Brown. I think she graduated maybe a couple years before me. And she traveled all around Italy. And it wasn't even, some of it was not even planned out. She would like get to a place and then someone recommend another grandma to her. She would stay a month with them and learn their story and their recipes. I love books that also tell me the story.
Yeah.
And I just love that book. Whenever I'm kind of feeling like I want to come back to something, I will pull that book out of the shelf. And I probably have about 100 books. I collect them.
Yeah.
Every time I'm in a
course.
thrift store or an estate sale, I collect them. And I just love that book. I just love the stories and the recipes by each region and how she went and lived with these women.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous book.
It could be
That's
a movie.
amazing.
Who has the rights
It could
to
be.
that? That's a
It should
great
be.
That's a great premise. Okay.
Yeah.
What is something of your content, what's something that you think is really easy but really elevated that if someone says, I don't know how to cook, but they want to impress, their in-laws for a dinner party, what would you recommend that they make out of all of your recipes that you've posted?
Make the Ragu Bianco. It is
Okay.
with ground
this down.
pork or ground veal or ground pork. It is a tomato-less sauce, and everyone loves it. If you serve a Ragu Bianco, everyone is mopping it up. Everyone's asking for the recipe. Everyone's coming back for more, and it is so easy.
Wow. Okay. Go-to cocktail order.
A Negroni.
Ooh, nice. Gin preference?
I don't really have one. I'll usually just take
Okay.
whatever. I'm not super
Not particular about
not
that. Okay.
particular.
Okay. Who's the chef that you look up to the most?
I think for cooking, I love, and again, this takes me back to like my cooking days of being hungover on the couch. I love watching James Martin and Rick Stein.
Okay.
They're both very different, but they're both British. Something about it, I turn them on and I just like relax. So if I'm homesick on the couch, I
Yeah.
turn on old episodes of Rick Stein and James Martin.
That's your comfort show.
That's
Yeah.
my comfort show. As
Love.
people or chefs, I don't know if they're both very successful. Like they do amazing, but like their food is the kind of food that I just want to like wrap up and like watch and then go and cook.
Love.
I'm jumping in with one. What is your favorite recipe of yours that you would recommend to someone hungover on their couch?
Oh God, that's so hard because when you're hungover, you really don't want to cook.
Exactly.
I would
so it must
say-
be easy and delicious, which is kind of code for like, what could I possibly make?
Pastina.
I
So,
was going
like,
to say pastina. Yeah.
What,
Because
pastina?
it-
Okay, I'm writing
It's
it down.
you could use any kind of little pasta. So you could use orzo. You could even use like ditalini. But if you have the tiny pastina, and then if you didn't have homemade chicken stock, you could use better than bouillon. And then it's got butter and Parmigiano. It is so good, so comforting.
Ugh.
That is a hangover cure.
Favorite restaurant in Orange County?
Oh, I feel like Orange County can be a bit of a food desert,
Okay.
It like for me, the really good types of food are the ethnic type food. So like I am going to Little Saigon for pho. Their broth is off the charts.
Okay.
The restaurant I eat most at is Shunka, which is a sushi restaurant on 17th Street. I also love Marché Moderne if you're looking to kind of push the boat out for a fancier restaurant.
Okay. Favorite restaurant in Sun Valley?
Oh, let's see. It's probably a toss-up between Christiania and Vintage.
I've heard Vintage is incredible. I haven't
It's
been yet.
amazing. In the winter, there's only like 7 tables. It's really
Yeah.
small. And then you can walk out the bear chute to the back, just through the alley to get to casino.
Perfect. Sounds
It's
like
a perfect
great
night. It's a perfect night.
What's your favorite restaurant in the whole world? Like, if you had to have one last meal, which restaurant are you going to?
There's a restaurant in Paris called Anahi, and it's right next door to that really famous restaurant, Chez L'Ami Louis, that serves the roast chicken and the foie gras. And it's extortionately expensive. But I remember this is back in my 20s. We tried to go there, and it was closed that night. So we go to this restaurant in Anahi. It was Argentinian themed, but they just served steak, salad, and then you could choose red or white wine. It's in an old abattoir. And so there was all these tiles. It's one of the reasons why you could see my entire kitchen is tiled.
Mm-hmm.
And it was full of all these like fashion types. And I remember like we kind of stuck out. We were like, because this is now like 1 a.m. We kind of didn't fit in. But we started talking to all these people at the tables next to us. My husband talks to everyone. It was just the most amazing restaurant. It was so cool. The food was so good.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's since it closed and then now it's changed hands. So I don't know if it's the same, but I had my 30th birthday there. I was living in London. So all of our friends came to Paris for the weekend.
So
Yeah.
fun.
I got engaged that weekend. And I just like, if I could go back in time and have a meal at the Old Anahi in Paris, I would be so happy.
Oh,
That's
I love
amazing.
that. Okay, I have one last question. Kind of a personal question for me because I am new to this journey. Is homemade stock that much better?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay,
You'll never
so
go back.
you've inspired
really-
me. You've inspired me. And so I started my journey because I got my Ruffoni stock pot for Christmas. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I have a massive stock pot now. I have no excuse to not make homemade stock. And so far it's been very good. But why do you think it's that much better?
The flavor is just completely different. So like if you
Yeah.
take the box stock and then
Mhm.
you try a sip of that and then you try a sip of your homemade stock, like you'll never go back. I put mine on my stovetop in a beat up, battered up old Le Creuset that probably I should turn in for a new one because it has like holes in it. And then I put everything in, all the scraps, all the vegetable scraps, the bone scraps, everything. And then I just fill it with water, cover it, put it on the lowest setting, and I leave it for a day. I don't
Mhm.
look at it again. I don't really do anything. And then strain it. It is so good. It's the base of, to me, it changes your home cooking more than anything else is
Yeah.
using homemade stock. Like that, in a pinch, obviously I have better than bouillon.
Yeah.
And it's great. I mean, for non-homemade stock, it's great, but it will never
Yeah.
compare.
Okay, so it's a must.
Also, if you cook it that long, it turns into a bone broth. So you get all that
Yeah.
collagen. And like, I often drink it in the morning. I'll have a cup of coffee and then a cup of bone broth.
Well, again, yes, if you do get rid of that Le Creuset, please sign it and give it to me so I can give it to
Yeah.
Ellen. But that wasn't my question. My question is, do people get nervous inviting you over for dinner?
Yes.
Because I would
Yes.
be.
I'm like, sometimes I feel like people don't invite us
Yeah.
because they're like, I don't want to cook for you. I'm like, you guys, that is not it. That doesn't matter. Do you know how happy I am when you could cater it? I wouldn't care.
Right. You do so much
just
cooking. Yeah.
Being
I'm sure.
invited over to someone's house and experiencing what people often get to experience in my house, I'm like, I don't care if you cook for me. I don't care what your house looks like. I hosted parties in our house back when we lived in a postage stamp. And I didn't even have
Yeah.
room to host inside. I had to host outside. It doesn't matter what your house looks like or how big or fancy, or it's just the vibe, you know? And so yes, I do feel like people don't invite us sometimes because they don't want to cook for you. And then I get bummed. But then my friends who do, I'm always like so thankful. And I'm like, it's always such a treat to be able to go to someone else's house.
Okay, let's move on to we have 2 little segments and then we're going to like get you out of here. Thank you again for spending so much time with us. We have an advice segment on this show every week called Ask a GLU. GLU stands for Girls Like Us. And one of our GLUs has written in with a question for you, which I actually think is an amazing question. This is from Caitlin. She says, I would love any tips on cooking for one. I find myself eating really simple meals because it's hard to justify putting in a ton of effort just for myself. So what would your advice be on cooking for one?
I think it would be cooking dishes that then can be turned into something else. So let's say you're roasting a whole chicken,
Mhm.
right? Obviously, one person, you're not going to be eating a whole chicken, or you're
Sure.
roasting 4 chicken thighs. What can that be turned into the next day? So then maybe you're taking a portion of it and making chicken noodle soup. Maybe you're taking another portion of it and making a chicken pot pie. I would focus on making dishes that I can easily turn into at least 2 other dishes.
That's good advice.
That
like
is brilliant. And I love that you just said that because that's what I did over the snow weekend. On the first night, I roasted a whole chicken and then we put it in different things all weekend. That's exactly what I just did.
I like made this amazing slow cooked pork with fennel and apple.
Ooh.
And I had some left
I looked
over.
at that. That looked so good. I saw.
It's so good.
I want to make it.
Day, I took a big spoonful of it and I added it to a frying pan with like another splash of heavy cream and fried an egg in it. It was the best breakfast.
Yum.
Like the runny yolk over the pork got a little crispy and then I dipped my bread in. I'm like, this is heaven. So I mean I do that too. I'll take dishes I have and be like, what can I turn it into the next day? Because I cook a lot. There's a lot of leftovers.
There's so much food at your house. I can't even imagine. Oh my God.
Kids go to college and have to live in the dorm. They will lose their minds. I think we need to start up a GoFundMe for them like right now, thoughts and prayers. Like I don't even know what that will be like.
So like he was at a birthday party the other day and they had Shake Shack, like a burger. Like I love Shake Shack.
Sure.
Love it.
And they like hand him money and he's like, no, thank you. And they're like, oh, you don't want a cheeseburger, Bear? And he's like, my mom cooks better than that.
I am dead.
Dying. I'm like, or he'll go to someone's house and they'll offer him like buttered noodles. And he'll be like, no, thank you. I mean, he's polite, but he's like, no, thank you.
Want that.
I'll wait till I get home.
I'm crying.
I can't.
That's fantastic.
I love. Okay, so every week on the show, we do our current State of the Union. I give my in and out for the week. Lisi gives her in and out for the week. And this week, Corey's going to give her in and out for the week. So, Lisi, how about you start? What is in and what's out for you this week?
In the name of this episode, I'm going to say out, because I like to start with my out, is ballistics. Like I'm taking a cue from you, your old like career. Ballistics are out, balls are in, because you have shown tremendous balls in your pivots, in your career risks, in everything. So balls in, ballistics out.
I love it. So my in and out for this week is inspired by the things that have been going on around me. So I've been living inside in a full ice storm for the past 3 days and doing a lot of cooking because we can't go anywhere and all the restaurants are closed, and it's been really nice and a nice little reset. But my in for this week is cozy cooking and my out is chic chefing. The presentation has not been at the forefront. The cozy is the leading factor in everything that I've been making, and it's been really refreshing. It's been a nice little reset.
I love that one.
Okay, Corey, what's your in and out?
I love that. Okay, so my in is going to be slow cooked, cheaper cuts of meat over the fancy normal cuts. So whether that be chuck meat, beef cheek, pork shoulder, anything that's going to cook low and slow and give you that comfort over the oftentimes more expensive, non-slow cooked cuts.
Okay, I love it. So low and slow is in.
Yeah.
What's the opposite of low and slow?
High
Fast
and
furious.
expensive.
Yeah.
Fast and expensive. Fast and fancy.
Fast and fancy. Yeah.
Okay.
Low and slow, fast and fancy.
That's a lot.
I love it. That is a perfect State of the Union. Corey, thank you so much for joining us today. I really can't believe this was like such a treat. I feel like I'm meeting like Ina Garten. Like it's that level of starstruck that I've been today. You have no idea. Wait, so before you go, you have so much exciting stuff coming up. So you have shot a full cookbook and created.
Yes.
When does your cookbook come out?
It doesn't come out till November, which seems like a million years away. But
I'm pre-ordering. I can't wait.
I think the pre-order will be out maybe in late February, early March. And I'm going to have exciting stuff that goes along with that. So like everyone who pre-orders the book, there's going to be exciting stuff that can happen with that. So like,
oh my God, I can't wait.
It's not fully confirmed yet, but I have ideas. But yes, it's exciting. This whole year is going to be a big like leap forward for this whole career path I've made. So I'm signing management this year. I'm getting real and like hired a bookkeeper, like all the kind of nitty gritty back stuff that you have to do. But like I'm going to hire an assistant soon.
Love it.
This is going to be a big year for Coco Larkin Cook. So it's exciting.
So exciting.
I'm really excited about it.
Congratulations.
Oh my God. Well,
tell everyone where they can find you right now before you blow up.
So right now I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Coco Larkin Cooks. I'm also on Substack. I have 3 recipes a week, make it there. 2 are paid and 1 is free. Every Friday it's free. And that will remain going So I basically take the 3 most popular recipes from the week before, and those make it to Substack. And that is where you can find me. And you can also just find me probably tooling around Sun Valley and
ripping a heater outside of the casino.
Ripping a heater in the back alley of casino, guys. You know where to find me.
I can't wait for that day. It will happen, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. Corre, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you. This was so much fun. I really appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you. We can't wait to come over for dinner. Thanks for the invite.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Corre Larkin, for joining us on this episode. And I'm Ellen Marlowe.
I'm Lisi Harrison. And if you have any questions for us or any of our upcoming guests, please send them to thestateofthereunion@gmail.com.
We thank you so much for listening to this episode of Oh My God. We are available wherever you stream podcasts. We're also available in video format on YouTube and on Substack. So please follow us there. Give us a 5-star rating, comment, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Oh My God Podcast. We're everywhere. Thank you so much to our producers, Isabella Betcher and Kristen McLaughlin, as well as our graphics goddess, Bella Tamayo. We love you. We love you, GLUs. And Lisi, I love you.
I love you, Ellen. Okay. Love you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we will see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.